Howdy folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with the mighty Jingles, and today we're in the patch 8 test server in the garage with the Matilda Black Prince, the new British, damn yo, the British tier 5 premium medium tank. It's here at last, the first British tank in the game. What is it going to cost you? Well, let's go to the depot, no, let's go to the store and have a look. And there you go, medium tank Matilda Black Prince, 1750 gold. Which is a fairly reasonable price, I suppose. Not too bad. What do you get for your money? Well, you get a premium tier 5 medium tank. And I suppose we really have to compare it to the normal Matilda, the Russian tier 5 medium tank. However, before we go any further, I would just like to make it absolutely clear that my crew, the commander, his name is Staff Sergeant Ashpole. Okay? Not asshole. Right, I just want to make it very clear for all the Americans in the audience sitting at the back laughing their asses off. His name is Ash Pole. Alright? Stop laughing. So, yes, that little incident cleared up. Let's have a look at the normal Matilda. So there are the vehicle details. And there's the Black Prince. So, if you compare the stats side by side, they both have exactly the same hit points, 610. The normal Matilda is 27.87 tons. The Black Prince is 30.29 tons, so it weighs more. Now, the normal Matilda was a very slow tank. It could only do 25 kilometers per hour because it only had a 274 horsepower engine. The Black Prince weighs more and has a weaker engine. The Black Prince weighs 30.29 tons and has a 100, that's right, 190 horsepower engine. Oh my god, this thing is slow. Its speed limit is 22 kilometers per hour. Now, the Churchill, I think, can do 26 or 27. The Matilda can do 25, but this sets a new low speed record. 22 kilometers per hour speed limit. Holy cow, that is slow. Just to put this into some sort of perspective for you, if we have a look at, well, let's have a look at what other medium tank is really, really slow. The Matilda Black Prince, okay, has a power to weight ratio of 6.27, 6 horsepower per ton. That is crap. So what other medium tank in the game, other than the Matilda, is really, really slow? Well, there's a turd in the French medium tank line called the D2, and the D2, actually, if we put the stock engine in the D2, even with a stock engine, it's still got a better power to weight ratio than the Black Prince, 7.82 compared to the Black Prince, and it's 6.27. We have a winner. We have found the new slowest tank in the game, and it's British. Damn you! Oh dear God Almighty! Right, okay. So slowest tank in the game. Well, yeah, it's the slowest tank in the game. It's not the slowest vehicle in the game. That particular honour still belongs to the T-95 American Tier 9 tank destroyer. But yeah, this thing is never going to win a speed record. However, it does still retain the very, very, very good traverse speed of the regular Matilda, 35-degree hull traverse. And if we go to the turret, despite the fact that the turret is much bigger and has a bigger gun, the turret still turns at 34 degrees per second. So yeah, that's not bad at all. And the view range is 350 metres on both, the signal range 570 metres on both. So yeah, bingo. It's pretty much exactly the same as the regular Matilda, except the turret is bigger. And it isn't as quick, and I didn't think I'd ever hear myself saying something isn't as quick as a Matilda, but there you go. And now we move on to the armour, and this is where things start getting a bit weird. Now, the regular Matilda is a very, very well armoured tier 5 medium tank, 75 at the front, 70 at the side, 55 at the rear. Considering this is the same hull, that's where things start getting a bit weird, because it's still 75 at the front, but it drops down to 55 from 70 at the side, and it's still 55 at the rear. So the side armour isn't as good as on the normal Matilda. It's only 55mm thick. But look at this big old turret. I mean, it's like a big-headed baby. Surely the turret must be better armoured. Well, yes and no. The regular Matilda is 75 all-round, front, side and rear. The Black Prince is 76 at the front, so it has an extra millimetre of armour. Wow. But the side is only 51, and the rear is only 44. So this massive turret is overall worse armoured than on the regular Matilda. So I don't get where did all the extra weight come from? It's got less armour. Why does it weigh more? But it is what it is. Well, perhaps it's because it's got this 6-pounder gun. And unless I'm very much mistaken, a 6-pounder gun is a 40mm gun. But the normal Matilda has a 76mm gun. So I don't know what the hell's going on. There's the 6-pounder. And there's the 76mm Zis 96. And the 6-pounder even weighs a third. This just doesn't make any sense. I don't know where the extra weight is on the Matilda Black Prince. The turret isn't as heavily armoured, the hull isn't as heavily armoured, and the gun weighs a third of what the Matilda's gun is, and yet somehow the Black Prince weighs more. Hey, I don't make the rules, I just work here. So there you go, it is what it is. But let's compare the two guns. In fact, it's probably best if we compare the gun on the Churchill as well, because it is effectively exactly the same gun. The one on the Black Prince being the 6-pounder Mark 5A, the one on the Churchill being the 6-pounder Mark 5. So if we compare these, we can see that they have the one on the Churchill has a slightly faster rate of fire. 26.25 rounds per minute, the Black Prince 26.09. They both have exactly the same penetration of 110, exactly the same damage of 75. The Black Prince is slightly more accurate, 0.41, whereas the Churchill 0.43, and they both have exactly the same aiming time. So effectively the only difference is there's a very, very slight drop in rate of fire, and it's slightly more accurate. So there we go, don't have to look at the Churchill's gun anymore. How does it stack up against the Matilda's gun? Well, what you've basically got here is the Black Prince is a Matilda with a gun that fires much faster, has much better penetration, doesn't do as much damage, has the same accuracy, and a slower aiming time. That's it. Other than that, they're effectively the same weapon. But this is actually quite good news, because one of the problems that the regular Matilda has is penetrating Tier 5 heavy tanks. And if it has trouble penetrating Tier 5 heavy tanks, you can bet it has trouble penetrating Tier 6 heavy tanks, because it only has 86mm of penetration. Well, the Black Prince's gun has 110mm of penetration, just does less damage. But it has a monster rate of fire, so that kind of, negates the disadvantage of not doing as much damage. So there you go, those are the differences. How does the thing actually play? Well, it's fun. It's not a great tank. It certainly isn't. But it's fun. But we'll get on to that when we have a look at the replays. Sergeant Ashpole, God damn it. When Sergeant Ashpole takes us out for a spin later in the replays. For the moment, what sort of equipment do you want to fit to this thing? Well, with a rate of fire like that, you probably don't really want to fit a gun rammer. I mean, you could, just for the lols, but it certainly doesn't need one. It definitely is going to need enhanced gun lane drive. If you're prepared to spend 500,000 credits on a tier 5 medium tank, then yeah, fit an enhanced gun lane drive, because the gun does have a 2.3 second reload. And again, not 2.3 second reload, sorry, a 2.3 second aiming time. And again, improved ventilation will help with that, and it will also help with getting this thing going on soft ground. It'll help with the acceleration from the driver, and it'll load slightly faster, and just everything. So I would definitely say, excuse me, I would definitely say you want improved ventilation on this thing. Now your third choice, well, questions. You could put a medium caliber tank gun rammer for those situations where you're at such close range that you don't really need to aim anyway, and just pump those shots out even faster. And that's not a terrible idea. And it's only 200,000 credits, but it has a pretty good view range, 350 meters. And I think coated optics is a good idea on this thing, because that would put the effective view range up to 385 metres, and that's starting to be a very, very good view range. That's like tier 8 or 9 level view range. And anything that would give you the first shot advantage in this thing, because this thing doesn't just get the first shot advantage if he spots you before you spot him. This thing gets the first 4 shots advantage because that gun fires so fast. So I figure coated optics, and I say coated optics rather than binocular telescope because this thing is slow. Anybody driving any of the British tanks in this game, the Matilda, the Churchill, and now the Black Prince, if you've driven the other two, you know that the way you play this tank is you never stop moving. Right, you keep rolling and you keep firing, and to a large extent that's true on this thing as well. So definitely not binocular telescopes, but coated optics, not a terrible idea. So for your third option, I would definitely say either coated optics, or if you just want to play it for the lols, a medium caliber tank gun ram. There you go. Crew skills, I've gone with Mentor. Sorry, not Mentor. I've gone with Jack of all trades on Staff Sergeant Asshole. Yeah, I'm just going to go with it. Yeah, I've gone with Jack of all trades on him, because one of the problems that I find with the Churchill is that people spam the gun port where the 6-pounder gun sits to get through that turret armour, and it tends to knock the gunner out. So, and the gun's .41 accuracy anyway, so dead gunner, bad. So I've just gone with Jack of all trades so the commander can take over. And for the other guys, repairs. You don't want to spend time tracked in this thing. And as you're going to see in one of the replays, T50-2s trying to do the circle of death around you cannot do it, because your hull turns at 35 degrees per second and your turret turns at 34 degrees per second. And so it's very, very easy to keep that gun pointing at a T50-2, and your rate of fire is more than adequate to take care of him. Intelligent T50-2 drivers or VK2801 drivers will blow your tracks off and then start circling you. If that happens, you're a dead tank. And if that happens, you'll wish your crew had repair skills. So that's why I've gone with this particular setup. So enough blabbering on. Let's Staff Sergeant Asshole and the Black Prince take you for a ride. Well, here he is in his Arctic camo, the Black Prince. Now, the thing you're going to find on the test server at weird hours of the day is that basically, because you get 100 million experience and 100 million credits, everybody just blows through all the tech trees, unlocks all the tier 10s, and they pretty much only play the tier 10s. So it's not unusual to find mid-tier battles like this not having many tanks in them. Sorry about that, just had to cover the mic while I coughed. And there you go. Oh, this thing's slow. You do tend to see a lot of Black Princes driving around in these mid-tier games, though. It seems like everybody wants to try one. You do find yourself, when you're driving one of these things, rocking backwards and forwards in your seat, trying to make the thing go faster. Oh yeah, what do you think of Arctic? Check it out. That's how Arctic looks with the new renderer. So we're heading down to the corner of Fail, because there's only one artillery on each side. Normally this is where all the idiots go to die. But today we have a KV-1. Oh my god, look, how embarrassing is this? We're being overtaken by a KV-1. He's leaving us standing. Wait for me. Damn, but this is pretty. Ooh, contact. Aha, another Black Prince. Right, we'll have him. Imposter. Hold still, let me shoot you. There he is. Oh, penetrated him. Just the one, though. Oh, he's actually put some holes in the front of that KV, and that's the increased penetration of 110mm over the crappy 86mm penetration on the normal Matilda's 76mm gun. So that's good. But you're driving a Matilda, what you do? Don't just stop there, boy. Okay, perhaps now we will. And we are actually doing damage to this guy with those rare shots that actually hit him. And he's dead. I feel such a traitor. I killed another British tank. No. What was waiting around that corner? Ah, another one. Right, okay. Let's try and knock his gun out. And that A32 is so dead. Now somebody is shooting at our other Black Prince, and that looked like artillery. Well, that wasn't artillery, that was a direct hit from something. Whoa. Okay, this is looking dangerous. He's getting shot at by a lot of enemy tanks. So let's just put a bit of distance between, a bit of lateral side distance between whatever was shooting at him. I have to admit, I don't know why we're no longer taking fire. There's a T1 heavy tank over there. So this should prove challenging. He's sitting at a very good angle. It will be very difficult for us to penetrate him sitting at that angle. There we go. Aim above his tracks and hope it hits. Oof, that felt like artillery. Hard to tell. Did just over it. Okay, that was artillery. Surprisingly tough little tank. It just has very weak side armour. And all they've got left now is a Churchill and M10 and their artillery. So we just keep chugging forward up the hill. Don't stop. Oh, and there he is. Right, you think it's funny shooting at me, do you? Yeah, laugh that one off. And we are never going to catch that Churchill in time. There is no way this tank is ever going to get anywhere near that Churchill fast enough to do damage to him. It's just not going to happen. Not with the Panzer IV and a KV-1 bracketing him. So this was my first ever game in Matilda Black Prince, and I got 2 kills, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. But God almighty, this thing's slow. Did I mention how slow it is? And there we go, that's a victory. Hooray, we won. So, let's have a look at the post-battle results screen. So, there you go, there's the results. Second class mastery badge, woo, first game ever in the Matilda, I rock. And a sharpshooter badge. And damaged killed an A32, killed their artillery, damaged 2 other Matildas and a T1 heavy. Yeah, not bad. Team score, I figured out what this means. It's the percentage of the health that you have left at the end of the battle. So, hey, there you go. Although, by the time I get this video up, I dare say somebody else has already pointed it out in the comments. Whatever. So, only one Battle Hero award in that game, and that was the KV-1. I got a sniper medal. A sniper with a KV-1. What is going on? Blah, blah, blah. There you go. Detailed report. How did we do? Well, 24 shots fired, 17 hit the target. That's to be expected with this gun. 12 of which penetrated. That's also to be expected with this gun. So, half of the shots that we fired actually penetrated and did damage. Yeah. If you're used to playing the Matilda, the Russian Matilda, and if you're used to playing the Russian Churchill, that will come as no surprise to you whatsoever. That's exactly the sort of statistics you expect to see. 5 damage, 2 destroyed, 2 detected. Yeah, not bad. I mean, what you tend to find on the test server, these were not full teams by any stretch of the imagination, because most people, you log on, they give you 100 million credits in experience, and everybody fills up the tech tree, buys themselves tier 10s, and they run around in all the tier 10s. Tier 9, tier 10 machines, you don't have a problem finding a full game. The tier 5 machines, yeah, slightly more problematic. And this is the sort of games that you get into on the test server in lower tier, mid-tier vehicles. It's just the way it is. Nobody's playing them. So, there you go. Now, I'm not entirely certain. You see, the Churchill doesn't get... its premium vehicles are credit farming vehicles. The Tier 8 premiums get a very good credit multiplier. The Tier 6 premiums get a good credit multiplier. The Tier 5 premiums don't appear to get a credit multiplier. But the Churchill gets an experience multiplier. I'm not 100% sure if the Matilda's the same. Now, the Matilda Black Prince, I don't know. It's not really obvious from looking at the statistics. As you can see, even without a standard account, or even with the standard account, without a premium account, that would still have been a profitable game, because your repairs and your ammunition costs are negligible. That would have been 11,255 credits profit in a Tier 5 non-premium account. With premium, it's 17,000. So it's still quite possible to make a profit in this thing. It doesn't look like it's getting a credit multiplier though. That I would have expected more than that, even in a Tier 5 game. I mean, again, a result like that in the Dicker Max, for example, I would expect to see 35, 40,000 credits, because that's what the Dicker Max earns. This doesn't look like it's getting a credit multiplier, and looking at the experience earned, that certainly doesn't look like it's getting an experience multiplier either. So, well, that may change. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. I'll play a couple of games in this as the patch develops through various builds, and see if that changes and let you guys know. But at the minute, it doesn't look like the Matilda Black Prince is getting a credit or an experience multiplier at all. So there you go. Wait a minute. This is a Tier 7 game. Oh no. Now I'm scared. Oh dear. What we got? Tiger P, KV-13, 2 SU-100 M1s, a T-20. Even the Tier 6s are dangerous. KV-1S. Oh.
Let's get this show on the road.
Okay, so I don't rate my chances in this game very highly. Hell, at least it'll be fun. Right, let's go. Now, you'll note that before I have even left the safe confines of the cap circle, the enemy T-50s are already on the bloody hill. Did I mention this thing is slow? But mine's is awfully pretty, isn't it? And if you watched my physics test preview, you would have seen that you can actually, well, you could, I don't know if you still can, you could climb up those hills. It's difficult to say on the patch 8 test, because people are, killing each other, because that's what the game is about. And this is definitely not the correct tank to be trying stuff like that. Now, do pay attention, 007. When you're driving a T-50-2, do not under any circumstances attempt to do the circle of death on Matilda Black Prince without first destroying his tracks and immobilising him. Otherwise, you'll end up in a snotty heap of shit, just like that guy did. The combination of 34-degree turret traverse and 35-degree hull traverse means you cannot circle this thing without him being able to hit you back every time he fires. So, Yabu sucks to you, Ivan. And I ain't going around that corner to face off against a bunch of Tier 6 Russian tank destroyers. But that means my only other alternatives is to go and face that Tier 7 medium tank. God save the king, let's do it. And, we are winning, 7-5. It may sound to the casual observer that I'm not really treating this commentary with the seriousness that it deserves. And, I'm not. There's just something about driving this tank. It's hard to take anything seriously when you're driving a tank that looks like that. So if that T-20 will just hold still for a few minutes, I'll pop over and give him the jolly good news. Where's he gone? Now I know the T20's got a good 90mm gun, but I know it also has a pretty slow reload.
That one bounced. We nailed it bad. We nailed it bad. Enemy is hit.
So that was alright. And he's a Yank, by Jove. That's very patriotic of him, driving an American tank and all. Nevertheless, you're the enemy, damn your eyes. I must have you, violently. I'm very sorry for these very crass generalisations, but I'm driving a British tank. It's the first time I've been able to do this, so I'm going to have fun while doing it. Why is a T20 running away from me? Really? Oops, shit, it's pointless gun at me. Right, one hit. And I can take one more. I can't take one more of those, but hey, we've got backup now. And he's dead. And we've won. And yay! Rule Britannia and stuff like that. So, back to the garage. Let's have a look at the results. And there's the post-battle result from that one. Amazingly, I survived. Didn't expect to see that when I saw a tier 7 game lining up. And that's another thing about the Matilda Black Prince. At the moment, the Matilda and the Churchill have favourable matchmaking. They only get into tier 5 and 6 games. That certainly isn't the case for the Matilda Black Prince, and you are going to be a damn lucky player with a good team to survive in a tier 7 match with this tank. So that came as a bit of a surprise. But how did we do? Well, actually we did pretty damn well. Killed 2 T50-2s, which was about the limit of our expertise, but we had some, a good go at that T20. Critted him twice. That's good to know. Hit him 9 times. Wow. That's that gun for you. It just doesn't stop shooting. Hit him 9 times. Did 626 damage. So that's good. Team score. How did we go? Oh, we have a team killer. Not sure if that was deliberate or not. Wasn't paying attention. I didn't actually notice. One guy got a steel wall in the IS. Unsurprising. Well, actually, quite surprising with those SU-100 M1s in the game. But yeah, anything can happen. 2 kills in a tier 7 game. Right. Well, they were T50-2s. Not exactly difficult. And very surprising how quickly this thing turns. 35-degree traverse speed. That is... because the turret doesn't turn that fast, but it doesn't need to with a hull traverse that fast. So top tip, if you're in a T50-2 and you come across one of these, don't try circling him until you've blown his tracks off. And there you go. That's a bit better. 18 shots fired, 14 direct hits, 13 of them penetrated. 940 total damage. Took 4 hits. Couple of hits from the T50s and 1 hit from the 90mm gun on that T20. But we ended up, yeah, 1 more hit and would have been dead. But what the hell? It's only a tier 5 game. Get stuck in. Have fun. So, there we go. That was the result of that game. The Matilda Black Prince. It's fun. It really is fun. I definitely think it needs a matchmaking adjustment in the same way that the Churchill and the regular Matilda do. And I suspect that this just being the first version of the test patch, they just haven't taken that into account yet. And I think it probably will get a matchmaking nerf, because I wouldn't want to have to take this thing up against Tigers and T29s and ISs. Even going up against KV-1Ss is going to be dangerous enough, but at least this thing can penetrate a KV-1S. Yeah, it's not a bad little tank. It's really slow. And I mean really slow. This thing, 22 kph top speed. Oh my god, look at that. It's got a 190 horsepower engine. I think the Marder's got a better engine than that. Let's just have a quick look. Almost. The Marder the Marder almost has a more powerful engine than the Black Prince. Oh my god. Talk about your underpowered tank. But it's fun. I don't know what it is about these crappy little British tanks. They're just fun to drive. Am I going to get one? I don't think so, unless it gets a matchmaking compensation. So it only gets at tier 5 and 6 games, the same way as the other current British premium tanks. No, I probably won't dare get one of these. This thing in a tier 7 game with a, without a decent team. Oh no, forget it. If it does get the matchmaking spread reduced, yeah, I might get one of these. It's not a great tank by any stretch of the imagination, but it's very distinctive. It kind of reminds me of a really crap Chaffee. Look at it. It's got that big head. It's like a Down syndrome baby. Uh, I can't say that, can I? I'm going to get in so much trouble with people who have relatives with Down syndrome. Oh, I can't believe I said that. Don't worry, we'll edit that out later. So yeah, the Matilda Black Prince. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's not great, but it's not. It's actually not very good, but it's fun. And with a bit of a matchmaking adjustment, I can see this being a fun little tier 5 premium. I might get it, I might not. I've already got the regular Matilda. The gun on this is good though. It's fun. Yeah. There you go. That's my review of the Matilda Black Prince. What's it like? Yeah, it's fun. That pretty much sums it up. Don't expect to get anywhere in a hurry on this thing though. God almighty, 22 degrees, 22 kilometre per hour speed limit. That is just appallingly bad. But it gives it character. Um, So yeah, that was the Matilda Black Prince. I hope you enjoyed the videos. They were fun games. It's not an especially good tank, but it's fun to drive. When they bury the Matilda Black Prince, that's what it's going to say on its tombstone. At least it was fun to drive. That's it. That's all you need to say about this tank. So I hope you enjoyed the replays, and I hope you enjoyed the review. And take care on the battlefield. I'll catch you next time.